My skin is black.
What you looking
My
at?
skin is black.
I feel so good to be black right now.
Welcome to episode 34 of the Black in Fashion podcast. Today I have Kristin with me. Kristin is the communication specialist behind Pantora Bridal and Trap Fabricks. Thanks so much for doing the episode. I really appreciate you. So I want to just give you guys a little introduction on Pantora Bridal. It's known for its modern textiles and classic silhouettes, combining contemporary flair and a glamorous edge, transforming those key components into the perfect wedding ensemble. The designer, Andrea Pitter Campbell, has developed an approach that is designed to accommodate even the most discerning of clients. She works very closely to develop each concept, creating a unique custom experience. So she also has a new venture. It's called Trap Fabricks, and it's committed to providing fabric to designers, sewers, and creatives alike who lack accessibility to unique and hard to find textiles without an exorbitant price attached to it. We are dedicated to assisting you with your next creation. So that's Trap Fabricks rundown and bio on their website, and of course we'll put all of the information in the show notes today. So thank you, Kristin, for joining me. I have a little icebreaker that I do in the beginning just to kind of like warm us up. It's called like this or that. So you just tell me which one like you like over the other one, okay?
Okay.
All right. So straight leg or bell bottoms?
Straight leg.
Side boob or under boob?
Ooh. Ew. No boob.
No boob.
I'm a full busted, full coverage.
Gotcha. Dusters or motorcycle jackets?
Motorcycle jackets.
Okay. Mule or wedges?
Wedges.
Okay, cool. All right. I always like to throw those out. I just always think it's like fun to start out that way. All right. So we'll jump right in. I actually have a segment called It's a Look. Is there anybody in the media like this week that you felt just like you were like living for, like that they motivated you loved their look? I call it It's a Look.
I've just been looking at Halloween things this past
Well,
week.
who slayed this week for Halloween?
Oh, well, you know what? Somebody was a bride. Janelle Monáe.
Right.
She was I don't know if it would be a corpse bride or just, I guess or a zombie bride, but she had it kind of looked like a 40s style wedding gown, and it was basically above her head. And she was holding her head.
Oh, wow.
So you can see like the top of the gown was here, and then like the gown itself was holding her head here. So she looked like a zombie. It was like a satin and lace. I think it was satin and lace gown. But yeah, since we're bridal, I can say that's what I saw, and that was
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was like the few series of events, inspiration that led Andrea to like creating Pantora Bridal?
Well, she basically started Pantora Bridal when she was about 11, 12 years old. So
really?
Yeah, this
wow.
This started a long time ago. So she's been able to build the brand since then, but she basically decided at that time that, she wanted to be a wedding designer. Okay. She didn't know for sure yet that she wanted to get in bridal, but she knew that she wanted to be a wedding designer. And she ended up going to the High School of Fashion Industries, where she majored, of course, in fashion design.
Okay. I feel like so many people that went to that high school has been on this podcast.
Really?
Yes. So many people that went to that high school.
Fashion, that was the school. Well, I went there as well, and this is actually where we met.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I know
met in
her
high school
from way back when. Yes. So she basically developed the name of her brand while she was in high school, and I could actually tell you a little bit background on the name itself, Pantora. The P stands for Pitter, which is her maiden name. The AN stands for Andrea, and Tora is actually her middle name.
Oh,
yes,
love
means,
that.
Many faces of the Bible, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
If I'm wrong, she'll correct me later.
Okay.
So she basically saw herself in the name, and from then she just continued on building bigger and better, and then she moved on to go to the FIT. Where she also majored, of course, in fashion design. And I actually did an interview of her, just backtracking a bit, in high school, and I asked her where she saw herself, 5 years from now. And she said, she wanted to open a bridal store.
Nice.
And then
from
here
high
we
school,
go.
she already
From
knew.
high school, she already knew. And here we go, skip ahead. I graduated college, and she opened a bridal store.
Amazing.
I mean, it didn't start off from that, of course, having a brick and mortar store. She was selling her gowns through Etsy. And she also had a ready-to-wear collection. Nice. So she was doing ready-to-wear, and she was selling wedding gowns, get in where you fit in, sell where you can, but so Pantora has been in development from preteen.
Gotcha.
I can
Do
say.
you know who like her first client was and like how it made her feel?
I don't know exactly. Are we talking about in bridal?
In bridal, yeah.
In bridal, I couldn't tell you exactly who her first client was, but she actually had a lot of clients from Australia.
Nice. Okay.
It is the most random thing, but a lot of clients were on Etsy from Australia, and I guess they liked her aesthetic. Mm-hmm. So, she had a lot of clients from Australia.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What would you say is like the inspiration behind like opening Trap Fabricks?
So Trap Fabricks, she basically wanted to open a space where we were welcome. In a sense, you go to these I don't know if you know, but I'm
a designer too.
You go to these fabric stores and you don't see yourself, and you're bargaining, and you're trying to make the best of what's there, and you're faced with many different challenges just to buy fabric. So she wanted to have a space where we were welcome.
Gotcha.
And you saw yourself, you saw the like. So
okay. Mm-hmm. So do you recommend does Andrea or you do you recommend like someone going to design or business school, or do you think it's better to just like get out there and make the connections, meet the people? Like, do you feel like that the education side of it, I ain't gonna say the original education, like the school way of learning is the best way to go into like owning a business, a fashion design business?
I want to say it goes both ways. Like, she prides herself on having that background, having that education, because it helps refine her skills. Okay. But there are also people who are self-taught.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't knock it, but it definitely is always a benefit to have that design school education, so that definitely is, a good thing.
Gotcha. Okay. And what would you say was like the biggest struggle, like starting out, like with opening these businesses?
I just going back to, seeing yourself and people basically seeing the potential in her, because she was young. She was young when she had her first brick and mortar store. So it's, be able to find the people, like her first landlords who she was able to, get the space with. And when we first started out, she actually, she had 2 spaces. It didn't start off like that, I should say. But she had spaces across the street from each other. Okay. But when she met her landlords, they basically, asked her, a series of questions, figure out like, how you gonna pay for this?
Right, of course.
She was young, just out of college, and they just saw her passion and her drive. So I can say in the beginning of, the business itself, well, not the business, the bridal business itself, just being able to be in rooms with people who saw her potential, saw her passion, saw her vision. Mm-hmm. So it was just, I can say it was challenging to find those people who understand could foresee where she was going to go.
Okay, so it was challenging, like getting those connections.
Yes.
Okay, I always feel that is like the biggest challenge, especially like when you go into a space where you're opening up retail stores. And was there like I guess, a thought process behind like location? Like we definitely wanted to be in Brooklyn, or did you ever think about being in Manhattan or any of the other boroughs? Or Brooklyn was just like the root of like where like we want to have our retail businesses, our fashion business in Brooklyn.
She always wanted to be in Brooklyn. She wanted to be in her community.
Got it.
It's she actually she used to live not too far from the original store, which was on Rogers Avenue.
Okay.
But she wanted to put beauty in her community. She never even thought to go anywhere. Go to Manhattan. Go to any other part of go to Park Slope. Go to any other part of
Gentrified
Brooklyn.
Park Slope.
Yes, my girl. Go to any other part of Brooklyn. She wanted to be there. She lived like 15, 20 minutes away. She wanted to be in her community, around people. And it's so funny when we had first opened up the store. Well, actually, when we were putting things together, painting and making sure everything was good, there would be people in the neighborhood who would walk past, and they were like, "Oh, what are you opening? Are you opening a hat store?"
A hat store.
We had the craziest one, a meat store. A meat store? Really? That's the vibe you got? And like people would ask random things, and like we even got like people just like, "Oh yeah, we don't need another clothing store," and it's just like. And that was just in the beginning. After a while being there, like, the love that we got from the community was amazing.
That's right.
Like, people would stop just to say hi. Or people, the 44 bus runs right past. People would wave on the bus. People would be driving in their cars. They would honk. They would give a thumbs up. So it was just so much love from the community. And especially when we opened the stores across from each other. So it was the bridal store on one side, and then it was the children's store on the other side. There would be some people who wouldn't know. And people in the community would actually say, "Oh, you're here for that? You need to go over here, or you need to do this." So like even seeing that and watching it was just like amazing thing. So.
That's what's up. I love that. Yes, for building this community.
Yes.
What would you say are like some of like the bridal trends for like the holiday season? And do you feel like customization is like taking over like all facets of the industry?
Customization definitely takes over. People in Latin bridal, people love to have custom gowns, but people want to see themselves, or they want to see the bits and pieces of everybody else that they saw, and they want to bring that together. So, I mean, it is taking over. I don't want to say it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just, you have to be realistic. There's just certain things that it can't be done. You can't. That can't be constructed. Or maybe it can, but no. But you just have to be realistic. As far as trends, definitely the female silhouette, and I think that's pretty much like a timeless trend. Want to make sure everything is structured and we see, the figure.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Do you find that it's like hard to like stick within people's budgets, like when it comes to like retaining clients and stuff like that? Do you think that it's hard, like when people with this mass customization going on, is it hard to stick within these budgets? Do you try to work with budgets, or you just like, no, this is the price and then that's it?
We try to work with budgets the best we can within reason, I should say, because I mean our collections are a set price point.
Right.
We actually have two different collections. It's the Andrea Campbell collection. I'm saying her maiden name. Andrea Campbell collection and the Pantora Bridal collection. So she created the Andrea Campbell collection for the budget-conscious bride. So it's a more moderately priced collection because she basically saw that need for that bride. We started off with the Pantora Bridal collection, and she developed the Andrea Campbell collection after she got married, of course. And as we were having clients come in, she realized that there was, a certain underserved price point.
Okay.
So she really wanted to focus on helping those brides. As far as trying to stick within it, I mean, definitely there's people who they say it, yes, my budget is $3,000, I'm not going above that. But they don't always include tax within that $3,000.
Of course.
So,
I'm like, of course.
Of course, we try to show them, what's at the lower price point, and then explain to them, okay, so I have this gown that's $32. Do you want to see it? Let me show you. Let me show you what it can be. Or like try to tell them, what other vendors do you have? What else are you working around? Can you invite one less person? So try to help them out the best they could, but overall,
so like there's like room in that budget to be flexible.
Yes,
like you
correct,
guys kind of
correct.
offer up different tips and ways like you can cut back on some other things.
Yes.
And that way you can afford this $3,200 dress.
Try not to have you go in debt while you here. Like it's not our fault. We not trying to have you go in debt after your wedding. But so we definitely try to help the best we can. I mean, definitely there's some brides who, even though they have a budget, in their mind, they want this, that, and the third, and it's going beyond it. So you try to definitely, work with them the best you can, to the ability, so they can be happy at the end of the day. And our whole environment, we want our brides to be comfortable. We want you to walk away happy. We don't want you to be pressured into getting a wedding gown. So we try to help them to the best of our abilities.
What do you think about say yes to the dress? That's just a random question. But yeah, I like to know.
I mean,
she gonna drink her water. Honest opinion. What do you think about it? What is that shit called? Kleinfeld? What do you think about their? I guess everything. Like when it comes to like their sales pitches and how they do things and their like the gowns that they have in the store. Like, what do you think about them as a whole?
I'll be lying if I said I wasn't watching Say Yes to the Dress since high school. I mean, because I definitely was. I mean, it's a great show, and like that was, I can say that was my introduction to bridal, so to speak. I mean, outside of going to weddings, but as a, when you're younger, you don't go to that many weddings. They don't invite you. You're not paying for your chair. But so, I mean, I like the show, so I'm not gonna knock it. Kleinfeld.
Do you think it caters to a specific type of client?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Kleinfeld does cater to a specific type of client, and I want to say the con is that, as I was in high school, people look at the show and they assume that this is the model all around. And that's not necessarily realistic. Okay. I mean, on the show, yes, you can come with your 10, 15 people. I'm exaggerating, of course, but they go in thinking this is what they do on TV. So I can do this too. Like this is okay, or not even being conscious of the fact that Kleinfeld definitely caters to a particular bride. And I don't know specifically what their low is, but their low is high. Let's just say their low is high, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. So what I always tell people, who are going to Kleinfeld, whether they've gone before or after they've come to our boutique, is that if you want to go enjoy the experience, because it is an experience. Okay. I'm not going to knock that. It is an experience. Okay. But they do cater to a particular clientele. So, I mean...
Rich white girls?
I mean,
yeah.
So...
I'm like rich white girls.
So, yeah. So...
what would you say is like the hardest part about breaking into the bridal industry as an African American designer?
People taking you for your worth.
That's deep.
As it is, we have a culture where people,
they box you in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, at this point, there are a couple Black bridal designers that, I know offhand, but it's still that people don't see us or see her. I'm not the designer, but yes. But I'm saying see us. You guys are a team. See us, yes, see us as whole. But people don't see us. So to be able to go into spaces where people see you for who you are and what you're worth, and not that, oh, you make wedding dresses? Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I hate that.
But you're making wedding gowns. Like, the bridal industry is a very large market. And it's just for people to see that, like, I mean, Andrea's been out here. She's been doing things. Like, she's opening doors. She's breaking down barriers. And so just for people to see that's who she is. Like, she out here working. And just like overall, like it's not just she's sitting on the couch making wedding gowns.
Right.
Like she has a team, she has a studio, she has a business, a brand that she has built. She's in several retailers at this point. Like she's somebody.
Right.
So for people to actually see that, you have to still constantly, show people that, and show people that not only is she here, that we're here, that Black women get married.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know why it's still a myth, but Black women get married.
Right.
And like we have a different body type.
Absolutely.
We come from different backgrounds. We want different things. We want to see the curve. We don't want the silhouettes that are just straight, because whose body is that for? Right. So just out there just to show that we're here.
And we get married. I
yes,
have to say that again. Black women get married.
Black women, I don't know what this thing is like. Lord, they care more about the people who are splitting up and broken down and all of this stuff, but we get married.
Right.
We celebrate. We have 5-year, 10-year, 30-year anniversaries. Like these are things happening. So yeah, just being out there and showing, our worth.
Yeah. Do you feel like she has ever faced like any backlash like in the industry at all? Like or like have you ever guys put in a position where you felt like, okay, they're doing this because we Black? Like, whether it be a client or, getting into those doors, like getting into the retail spaces that she's in, like, have she, like, I almost want to say, I feel like it's very difficult for Black designers to get into like high-end retail stores like Saks and Bloomingdale's like that, and Saks has a bridal boutique. Like, has she ever like tried to approach like any of these type of places like for her, and then get like some like they're treating me this way because I'm Black?
She hasn't tried to approach any like big brand stores, but we actually did Bridal Market a couple years ago, and where it's by the pier, and it basically was a space for retailers, to come and purchase gowns for their stores. And I want to say there's over like 1,000 retailers are there or something like that. It's
where does this take place?
It was a couple years since we did this.
What city? I mean,
it's in the pier. Sorry, I thought you heard me. Yes.
Pier.
Yes, over by the piers.
Gotcha.
I don't remember what pier exactly it's by, but we did it 2 years back to back. And the first year was kind of like we were getting, feeling it out. We spoke to a couple people, but we didn't have any, nobody had any piqued interest. The second year was much better. We came in different and kind of regrouped. Gotcha. And we did have some interest, some piqued interest. And it was at the point that people were just like, oh my God, I love this. I love what you have. I love, and
so you don't feel like you've been like too much overlooked, like there wasn't?
Oh no, girl, there's more.
Oh, okay. Let me sit back.
Yeah, no. So they showed that piqued interest, but then when it came to following up, all of a sudden it was like was getting. I personally reached out to these people, and it was like I was getting shut down left and right, and there was even one person who. I still to this day don't know if she was the person that I actually spoke to on the phone, because the number that I had was like the general number for the business.
Okay.
Like, and I should have known. Shorty said she didn't have her business card on her. She gave me this one with her name, but okay, whatever. All of a sudden it was just like, oh no, we don't know what you're talking about. Oh no, we would never take on, a collection like this. Oh no, this person doesn't have the authority to do that. It was just a whole lot of, and it was just like, it was very strange, because it's not like you approached our table. We didn't walk down the aisle like, oh, excuse me, can you come?
Right.
So it was like that for that space. And at that point, Andrea kind of felt like, you know what? Let me step back. What's for me will come to me.
Absolutely. So
it came to the first retailer that we actually had is Lux, right on Nashville, Tennessee. And the owner there reached out to her, and, the store wasn't even open yet.
Wow.
So she kind of, reached out to, bring her in, and she saw that as, after having conversations with her, she saw that as somebody, who saw her, not just because she was or she is a Black woman, but because she saw what her brand was and what her brand stood for. And that's mainly just like the other retailers we have, and, how she feels going forward in any aspect. She wants people to see her. She doesn't want to just, collaborate or be a part of anything or any business where they don't see her. Right. She doesn't want somebody to say, oh, you're popular on Instagram. Okay, yeah, we'll take you. She wants them to see who she is, see who her bride is. Mm-hmm. And so that's how she's been able to like even have the relationship she does now with her current retailers.
Have you heard of, I want to say Pink Pigeon or Pink Parrot? It's in Jackson, Mississippi.
No, I haven't.
You never heard of them? Yeah, they're a bridal boutique down in Jackson, Mississippi.
Pink Parrot?
It's either Pink Pigeon or Pink Parrot. Now I gotta look because I don't know.
That's cute, and now I want to.
Yes, because I'm working with maybe it's Pink Parrot. Girl, I ain't got a clue.
I want to say the parrot is prettier than the pigeon, so let's just hope. I mean, I'm not gonna knock y'all if y'all pink pigeon, but I'm just saying.
Girl, I really don't know. Well, anyway,
it's a bird and it's pink.
It's a bird, yeah, but it's pink. But I don't know the name of it. But it's a bridal boutique in Jackson, Mississippi, and I don't think I've told you. I have a consulting business where I help emerging designers get their brands off the ground. So I do all of the product development. So I do the pattern making, the sample making, all the fabric sourcing. I do production, all that stuff. So I do these tours, this NYC Garment District tours. I do them the first Friday of every month, where I take a bunch of designers around to different factories and pattern makers and graders, fabric suppliers, the whole nine, just like how to literally go from start to finish. And I had a young lady that came on my tour who's actually based in Atlanta, and she's a bridal designer. So she's doing a collection for this boutique this in Jackson, Mississippi, but she's based in Atlanta. And basically I thought the way she's setting it up, I think it's really dope. So she knows she can't make all these dresses herself. So with the way she did it was, her business mind, I'm like, this is kind of smart. I'm making all of the showroom samples for this bridal boutique, and all these and they're doing they have a whole bunch of different designers that have exclusive collections. They're all Black. All Black bridal designers, and this place is a Black-owned boutique as well. That's in Jackson, Mississippi. And on their website, I was looking at it. They have the featured designers. So basically, I make these 3 silhouettes, which is her bridal collection, and they go into this showroom. So then when the women come in, they try it on, and whatever they like or whatever we make, she sends it up to me. I get it. I produce it. I make the gown.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I thought it was cool. She was just like, we just going to put the showroom samples in there. And I'm not sure if that's the way it normally happens in bridal. You have a showroom samples in the different boutiques. And then when she gets an order, anything customized, she'll of course send me the measurement. Of course, I keep all the patterns. I keep all the samples. I have all the fabrics and stuff like that. Yes. She sends the order up to me. I make the dress, send it down to Mississippi for the actual fitting and stuff like that. And I thought it was an interesting way of doing this bridal thing, because I don't know a lot about bridal, but the way she asked me to do everything, and I'm like, well, actually it makes sense. Why would we make a whole bunch of gowns, and we don't need, you know what I mean? And I'm like, smart. Because what I do is I'm making a whole bunch of stuff. So when people come to me, I do those samples and those patterns like that, but I always end up doing production afterwards because I don't have any order minimum. So if you want to make 10 pieces of each style, or if you want to make 100 pieces of each style, doesn't matter. But the way she has this little model set up for bridal, I'm like, I wonder, is that common? I never asked her though, but I was just like, this is cool. So I wanted to ask her, is that, how does it work with I guess with inventory and stock, and when you create these things?
Oh. Well, first of all, kudos to your multiple streams of income.
Thank you. Girl, New York is expensive.
I already know. But yes, so basically each retailer has a collection, so to speak. That there are some pieces that are exclusive to them, but it's also some of the pieces that we have in our current collection. So it's not all, but it is some of the pieces that we have in the current collection. And it basically is in a sense the same way, a bride would try on the gown, and if she wants it, that's where it comes back to us, and then we, put it into production.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's
So it is
basically
similar. Okay.
Yeah, so
I was
yeah,
wondering.
similar
I
in
didn't know
the
how it
sense.
worked there, but I'm
Yeah.
like, is there like a whole bunch of gowns there?
Yeah,
Like,
it's they don't get the full collection, but
Okay.
yes. So they do have pieces, and of course there are select pieces that literally are exclusive to them. So
Okay.
you can
That's
only
cool.
get that particular gown at that particular retailer. And of course
Gotcha.
you will only know that if you go there. Like that's not something
Okay.
like.
And I
you
think
know-
she's doing the same thing for these 3 gowns. Like these 3 gowns are for that boutique.
Yes,
Pink
yes.
Pigeon or Pink Parrot. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering this. I'm gonna figure out what the name of it is, but I do
we gonna work
not
it
know
out.
which one it is. But it's
a
pink
pink
something.
bird.
It's a
So
pink bird,
we-
and it's in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
I know that much. Cool. So I have like this thing I call fashion story segment. So like if you have like a success or disaster story like that you had with like a client or a customer the object is something that you learned. So whether it was a disaster and you was like, damn, we need to restructure our business because so that this doesn't happen again, or whether it was like a success story where you tried something, I guess, like new and you was like, damn, we should have been doing this from the beginning. That like it made you, like, it really was like an eye opener.
Okay. See, this is the thing that is in the top of my head, so I should just say, I mean, it's not the store exactly, but it was still a bride. Actually,
Oh, no, not even the store. I'm just thinking about like a customer.
Okay.
Yeah, just a customer. Yeah, it don't have to be in the store, just a customer.
Oh, excuse me, sis.
Oh, you good.
So I also do lady in waiting,
Okay.
which is basically I'm an assistant for the bride the day of.
Okay.
So we had yes,
I
yes.
like that.
They don't realize you need it, but you need
Like
somebody.
something like help you getting dressed. Just somebody just like
somebody
there.
yes, basically somebody
like
there.
that.
So somebody to help you get dressed, somebody to make sure you fed, you hydrated.
Yes, for
Somebody to
hydration
fluff
on my wedding day.
Yes, fluff and hold your train. I keep track of time. Make sure we because people don't realize the day of your wedding, it go like that.
Mm-hmm.
You like there's a lull period when the beginning when you're doing hair and makeup because you're not really doing anything but sitting there. But after that,
It goes
it's
like
time. It goes like that, and like. Brides get a sense somewhat because there's a lot of components that they're a part of, but the party, you know, they never really understand. So I did lady in waiting for this bride that we had that had a massive ball gown. It was it was completely covered in stones.
Oh wow.
It was I know what to say.
Like she had to get in the car by herself. Like it was like that.
No, she got with other people. It was just it was a lot. It was
Okay.
very heavy.
Okay.
So she, this was probably, probably like 2 or 3 years after we first started, after Andrea first started the business. And I went to her house. That's where she got dressed. She lived in Brooklyn. The venue was in Long Island.
Okay.
She had a limo and a party bus. She had the black cake dropped off at the house.
Black cake.
Black, that's, is it traditionally?
Rum cake?
Rum cake, yes, yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, she was Caribbean bride.
Yeah,
Okay.
Caribbean. So, so I wasn't even supposed to stay as long as I did. Let me just say that up front. So she told me the day before that she wanted me to actually come on. I say this because I don't know how half of this would have went down if I wasn't there. So she was going to get in the limo with the black cake with herself and her bridesmaids. And then
With the cake.
And the family and friends were going to get on the bus. There was a little table on the bus. I said, no, that doesn't make any sense. And usually I go in a limo with the bride. But I was just like, you know what? The cake, that's important. That's important to you. It was a large, large black cake. So I was on the bus with this black cake on this stand that would not stay. I held that cake on the stand, on this table, because it wouldn't stay on the table for a half hour. So we got to the venue. We get there. Because we were running so behind time, I did try to keep them, but I can't. There's one thing that you can't control, hair and makeup.
Of
You
course.
cannot make it go faster.
Okay. Yeah.
You
I
can
know
do
that's
other
right.
things. You could cut corners, pictures. Okay, we take these pictures at the venue. But hair and makeup, you cannot control it. And it could throw off your whole day.
Yeah.
Hair,
I've been a bridesmaid quite a few times. So I know.
hair and makeup could throw photography, video photography. Oh yeah, we could take 2 less pictures. Let's go. We gotta go, but you can't do it.
Okay.
So we were already behind. We got to the venue, and we were already late. And the the limo driver, well, the party bus and limo driver was saying, you know, she got to pay this. Like,
oh, okay.
And she went inside, and she's sitting there talking. Well, she didn't talk to her fiance, but she's talking to the maid of honor, like, you know, what we're going to do. So then I had to go back and forth between her, the fiance, trying to see what they have. And
they want to be paid right then and there?
Yes.
Oh, y'all better stop that. Send us an invoice.
Anytime you go over some of them, they're like, nah, you got to pay me right now. I'm not leaving. And for them, it's like, it will get back on them. So I'm literally sitting here pleading with this man. Like, you know, let's just say I must have sweet talked the hell out of that. They didn't have to pay nothing.
Really?
They didn't have to pay nothing.
Girl, what you had to do?
And right? I appealed to his senses. I don't know. And just like, he knew that I was trying to work things out. And I literally, I don't know how many times I went back and forth, giving him what I could, but it didn't even barely cover it. Then...
you don't need to be stressed out about no damn limo and no party bus on the day of your wedding. Like, he could have, y'all gotta relax. Like, come on.
It was just so many things, and just like,
we have a question in the question box.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but keep going. Let me
Okay. So, working with them, then the venue didn't know where certain things were, and I didn't know because I just got on the day before. So, talking to the venue. And trying to literally, I'm going upstairs and downstairs, talking to the maid of honor, talking to the groom, the whole time trying to avoid talking to the bride because you want to keep her focused.
Right.
And let's just say I stayed there 2-3 hours after the time I should not have
you
been
charged
there.
by the hour?
Huh? Yeah, but it was past my time. But and I learned literally. Yeah, your time is money, so you can't do things like that. But for me, it's always been, I want to make sure she's happy.
Yeah,
I want to make sure she's happy at the end of the day. I want to make sure she doesn't know that this man is telling me that she got to pay this money or else, but just try to see what she has and work it out. So just like,
it's customer service at its finest.
Yes.
And I just did an episode on customer service, I think 2 episodes ago, and how it's so important for Black businesses to make sure that their customer service is on point.
Yes.
And that's a lot of times when I hear people backlash, but I'm just like, I really like only eating at like Black-owned restaurants. I usually like only buy like Black designers. Like, I'm really like that. Like, I'm just like, sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's Black.
Yes.
And I had someone that wrote me on my DM and told me that they have been dealing with Black businesses and Black brands because of me. That they have been listening to your podcast. It's made me shop Black more. But I got the rudest comment from a Black designer. And I was just asking a question about their product. And she told me what the comment was. She screenshotted it. She sent it to me. And the man told her that reading was fundamental. I was like, oh, shit. And it prompted me, and I did like a whole episode. I was just like, please. I know that as consumers, we do not always read the fine print, and we don't, read all this stuff like that. But customer service is at its utmost.
It
the way you
is.
speak to people, the way you treat people.
Yes.
Like, I bet you that she appreciated you to the utmost. Like, wow. Like, she you went above and beyond.
My tip showed it.
I'm like, because you went above, and you didn't have to.
Yes,
like,
I didn't have to. And there's a certain time, when I'm doing Lady in Waiting, I mean, I try to, that was the motto. I was like, I can't extend myself that far. But there is a certain point, sometime I'm like, what is better? I want to make sure she's happy. If I'm going past my own time, that's on me. For me, I was like, I got to eat that.
Right.
But I try not to make it where I'm overextending myself too much. But no, customer service is definitely important. And I feel like, especially for Black businesses, people, put us already at a higher regard in a sense.
Absolutely.
Because then,
I be like, come on, Black bitch. Like, but I get the clapping at you real quick. Like, come on, like, I'm gonna support y'all because I'm never gonna not support you. I'm the type of person, I'm gonna give you a whole bunch of advice. I'm like, yo, look. I'm gonna help you out on this. Let me just give you a little feedback. Like, I give feedback, I give constructive criticism, because I'm never gonna be like, oh, I'm not messing with this no more, I'm not shopping here no more. I'm just gonna give you feedback to make you improve yourself, because if I just don't say nothing and I'm just like, I'm not coming here no more, how do they grow as a business?
Exactly. And that's what's sad when people are quick to say, Oh, yeah. Well, as soon as there's one little thing they don't like, oh, yeah, that's why I shouldn't have messed with no black business.
Mm-hmm. Like, I get the people, I'm trying to support my people, but man, y'all not this. Y'all customer service is this. Y'all, and I'm just like, well, did you tell them that? Instead of venting to someone else, are you telling them directly to help them? Whether they like it or not, I bet you they take heed to it.
Exactly. And then there's a problem with generalization where it's just like, oh, yeah, that's why I don't mess with black business. So you just lump in every single black business into one thing because of that experience that you had. But had it been a different brand of a different hue selling the same product, had they made that same mistake, you would have went back.
Exactly. So like with the customer service thing, do you find that it's difficult to like maintain employees and like keep them motivated, like as an entrepreneur, like running like a retail? Because you know how they say in retail the retention rate is like it's hard to keep people in. Do you find that that's difficult to find people that are motivated and finding good team members and training them and keeping them motivated?
Andrea, basically with every person that she has employed, they have to be somebody that could even be okay with having a simple conversation with.
Makes sense.
She has to be comfortable with whoever she's in any space with. So each girl that we have, although they're all different, have different styles, even though some of us have some similarities and they know who they are. But we each all have our different selling styles.
Okay.
And she basically looked for, women that she saw that would, basically market the brand in a certain way.
Okay.
So she looked for the women that would basically. Oh, you hear that too?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm like, why they gotta clean up today? Why they gotta be out there vacuuming
That's why
today?
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, because it picks up the sound. Like, I can hear that vacuum.
Because I was just like, man, something wrong. So yeah, she basically looked for the women who would represent her brand. So I don't want to say it was hard exactly, finding that employee. Each not each woman, but I would say about two of the women, reached out because they saw her brand and they wanted, really wanted to do this. And she saw the passion in them. Right. And then there's others that, we had people who've worked for us in the past, and they brought on somebody else that they've worked for in a different setting, and they just ended up being like the perfect fit. So she's just been, blessed to have people that literally have just been the fit for what we need. Gotcha. And so it's worked out.
Do you guys have like a customer service model like that all like the employees have to like follow?
We don't have a model per se, but you have to. She always promotes the fact that we have to make sure we cater to the bride and what she needs within reason.
That's always within reason.
Because she does always tell us, it was like,
got Bridezillas? Have you had a lot of Bridezillas?
That what?
Have you had a lot of Bridezillas?
Drinks
or sips tea.
Yes, sips tea.
Is it as common as you think it is, or is it not as common?
I don't want to say it's as common. I want to see, and I don't like saying Bridezillas. There's just a lot of brides.
They're very particular.
Yes. There we go. That was like I was looking for the word. There's a lot of women who are very particular, and this is an experience that you should. This is an experience that. Oh, that's no. This is an experience that
we got about 5 minutes.
Oh. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, go ahead. This
is an experience that you should expect everybody to know and understand the process going in, because most women, this is your first time getting married.
Of course.
So you shouldn't really know about the process. I mean, women do their research. Do they do as much research or enough? Maybe not. But you shouldn't really know about the process. But a lot of women come in, they're very particular about things, and they approach this how they approach other situations, and they don't recognize the fact that this is, in fact, a process. This is not a process that takes a month. This is a process that could take anywhere from 5 to 8 months.
Right.
And I'm just talking about in sense of construction.
Gotcha.
So, and especially if we talk about custom, like that could take longer,
Right.
depending on what you want and what your needs are. So this is, you know, there was a period of time where we're not really corresponding.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like a lot of women don't actually always understand that. So we kind of have to break it down like, you know, they're just like, oh, well, I haven't heard from you. You know,
what do you need to hear?
I'm pretty sure you don't want to know that this, you know, the bodice was connected, you know, the front bodice was connected to the back bodice, and we put this seam. So I mean, they don't understand. We're stopping them from
in the custom world too, because I've worked in that world and I've talked to a lot of designers. They're always like, so how's it going? So if I told you how I was going, would you know what I was talking about? Like if I told you I was working on the pattern, I had just made the sleeve pattern, and so, you know, I walked it inside the armhole and made it fit. Like
So I mean, I feel like a lot of brothers just don't understand that process per se, and they get a little frustrated.
Gotcha.
So I mean, that happens more so than anything else. So just, you know, we try to reiterate definitely in the beginning, like, you know, this is, you know, a long process, and then you come fit about 3 months before your actual wedding date. And so, I mean, it's a process. So
Gotcha.
yeah, there's definitely women who are particular when it comes to that.
All right, let me breeze through these last couple of questions.
Okay.
Do you guys plan on stepping into new markets? Like, do you do bridesmaids?
We used to do bridesmaids, actually, but she felt like, unlike brides, you can't give as much, or correction, we were giving too much individual attention.
Gotcha.
And it's just like she wanted to have the space to have more individual attention to brides than bridesmaids, which it shouldn't be a long process, but it was becoming a long process. And it's like these girls having 3-4 fit-ins because they didn't bring their undergarments or what other stuff. And it's just like, you know, we definitely had some good moments doing bridesmaids. And, you know, the first opportunity she had to do the whole bridal party was amazing. Just to do, we did the bride, we did bridesmaids. We used to do Mother of the Bride as well. So we did Mother of the Bride and Flower Girls. So yeah, we used to do bridesmaids, Mother of the Bride. We actually used to do prom, because we were by Mega Eva's the high school. So prom, them girls is different.
Yeah, I know. I used to do prom too. I stopped doing it in 2016.
That is
2016, I cut it. I was just like, done deal. And I was doing it here and in Chicago. So I only had like 10 girls here and I had 10 girls there, and I was flying back and forth. It was, I had a breakdown. Like and I was working too.
Yep.
So I had a whole breakdown. I was in a small apartment. I got all these doggone dresses. People would bring 5 and 6 other people to my home, and it was just too much for me. I just was like, you know, and I had been doing it for a while, but then I just got to a place where I'm like, I can't do this shit no more. Like it's like, it was driving me nuts.
It's an experience.
And I didn't really feel like I was designing anymore. I felt like I was looking at Instagram photos and I was trying to recreate, which took the love for it out of me. Like, I'm not creating anything. I'm not designing anything. I'm really just playing the seamstress role. And that's not what I went to fashion design school for. So,
all right, there we go. So yeah, we used to do all of that, but yeah, no, we don't do that. We don't do that anymore.
Gotcha. So, last one. Okay, so because we already talked about customer service, and we talked about yeah, we did. We hit all the trends and stuff like that. So, just to wrap it up, you guys have achieved a lot so far. So, do you have what's next? Like, what are the goals and stuff, like, within the next couple of years? What do you plan on doing?
Just on to bigger and better. And I don't know if you saw that post. She was like, oh, y'all where Andrea said, y'all told me to open 100 more stores. Okay, I'm opening 100 more stores.
Right.
But just on to bigger and better things, you know. She has always had such a vision for the brand, so she just wants to keep going on, keep climbing, look into having more retailers, look into, as she open trap Fabricks, just multiple streams of income.
Absolutely. That's the only way to work in New York.
Basically, as a whole, just opening more outlets for, you know, people to see us. You know, she's all about, you know, making sure
it takes a whole village.
Yes,
it's a community.
It takes, yes, and making sure, you know, our community is seen. You know, she prides herself on the brand's authenticity, and just having people see her everywhere. So sky's the limit at this
I hear
point.
that.
You know, a new collection should be coming out with in about 2 weeks or so.
Nice.
So
okay.
yeah, just
All right.
just on the bigger and better things. You know.
Well, thank you so much for doing the show, Kristin.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna have to stop by like the store and meet Andrea in person too. I would love to meet her and
Yes,
talk
of
to her
course,
too.
of
Like,
course.
this is great. I have never done a bridal episode. I was like, I need to like put this out there because I feel like as women who want to break into that, especially the ones that like do promise like that, and I have a lot of designers that listen and they always looking for education and markets and success. And I was just like, when I was looking at like Trap Fabrics and Pantora Bridal, I'm like, yes, sister. Yeah. Like that's literally just like what I said. I'm like, yes, sister, for having this bridal boutique in Brooklyn over here. Like I was just so I'm like, yes, for this fabric. Yes, Trap Fabrics. Like I was just so excited. But thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. And I'll put all the information in the show notes so people know how to reach out for like consultations and like all the information like for the store and stuff. So as I always say, stay black. Peace out.